Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my new Henry Cavill Superman Man of Steel 2 video. We found out what's going on with the next Superman solo movie. It has a lot to do with what's happening with the next big Superman appearances, including the Justice League Snyder cut. So we'll break it all down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We'll do a new Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do for the story of the next Superman movie. So starting with number 5, if you have no idea what's going on, recently The Wrap reported on the status of Henry Cavill's new Superman contract that he's signing at Warner Brothers and what's going on with Man of Steel 2. Or if you just want to call it the next standalone Superman movie, we don't know what it would be titled. Either way, it's still Henry Cavill, which means technically any new Superman movie that he appears in by default would be connected to the first Man of Steel movie in Justice League. Even though there's been talk of reboots and everything going on because of what's happening with the Batman, the same is still true for other new DC movies with the same Justice League actors. Everything is still connected to Justice League for the most part. The only big recasting recently was Robert Pattinson as the Batman, but that's a special case because Ben Affleck is also coming back as Batman for the Justice League Snyder cut.
It says the suit has bad mobility.
So that's what you did, 20,
Shush.
right?
I have full range of motion.
I mean, we have to go to lunch at some point, right?
But the other big news about Henry Cavill's Superman was that right now his new contract he's working out is just like Mark Ruffalo's Hulk contract at Marvel for all the Avengers movies and the other crossovers that he's been in. He crosses over into other movies, but there's no Hulk solo movie planned right now in Marvel Phase 4. The big difference between Henry Cavill and Mark Ruffalo's contracts, though, is that Mark Ruffalo signed a standard 6-picture deal originally when he first appeared as the Hulk in the Avengers movie. Henry Cavill's new contract is reportedly only for 3 movies. So number 4, the movies that they're reporting he would appear in would either be Shazam 2, the Black Adam movie with The Rock, the Flash Flashpoint movie, or Aquaman 2. But it would be multiple appearances, some of them would be bigger than others, like think Thor Ragnarok with the Hulk being a pretty big part of that storyline. It'd be a version of Superman doing that in other upcoming DC movies, but some of his appearances in those other movies would be bigger than others. Some of them would just be little cameos, some of them would be much bigger. He already had a cameo at the end of the first Shazam movie, so he's technically already crossed over with that franchise, and Shazam and Black Adam movies are still connected to the Justice League and DCEU. The whole reason he showed up in that scene is because Shazam met the Justice League and asked Superman to do him a solid for the Shazamly. The director even posted a funny meme video of him photoshopping Henry Cavill's face on there because there was so much hype about the Justice League Snyder cut and them revisiting old movies, adding new footage in. The real reason why you didn't see Henry Cavill's face there at the end is just because of a scheduling conflict with Mustache Impossible Fallout. Tom Cruise broke his leg, so they had to delay filming on that movie to coincide with the filming dates for the Shazam movie. It also caused problems for the Justice League movie too, everybody heard about that. So it just didn't work out, but it is supposed to be Henry Cavill's Superman after the events of the Justice League movie. And the Justice League Snyder Cut alternate storyline for Superman isn't going to affect any of that continuity. He still winds up in relatively the same place for the most part a year after the Justice League film. Everyone knows The Rock has been trying to get Henry Cavill's Superman in his Black Adam movie for years while it's been in development. He even commissioned Boss Logic to create this fan art of his Black Adam fighting Superman a couple years ago. And Jason Momoa is trying to get everyone to cross over into his Aquaman 2 movie, including Wonder Woman. But as cool as Superman crossing over with all of these characters is going to be, everyone just wants to know what's going on with the next Superman movie. So number 3, get this, the new report from The Wrap is saying that the reason why Warner Brothers hasn't formally announced Man of Steel 2 yet is mostly because of their new deal with J.J. Abrams and his Bad Robot company. If you didn't see that news earlier this year, AT&T paid about $500 million to J.J. Abrams to bring all of his business to Warner Brothers. That means all of the new TV shows and movies he develops will be Warner Brothers movies, including some of the new DC movies and TV shows. They just announced his first big DC project is going to be a super big budget HBO Justice League Dark series. Here's the thing though, Superman and the Green Lantern Corps movie were also part of the J.J. Abrams announcement. It was reported that Warner Brothers wants him to be involved in revitalizing the entire DC brand with their biggest IP. Batman is kind of an exception to that because Matt Reeves has that on lockdown right now, so J.J. Abrams isn't going to be doing any kind of Batman stuff. But if Warner Brothers is touting J.J. Abrams doing a new Superman project, why is he doing Justice League Dark first? Well, the main reasons they're reporting are apparently because Warner Brothers doesn't think a Henry Cavill Superman movie like Man of Steel 2 is a box office sure thing right now, And 2, J.J. Abrams apparently wants to cast his own Superman. So 2, because of all the Justice League Snyder Cut hype right now, Warner Brothers is just going to let that play out through next year, letting Henry Cavill cross over into other short-term upcoming DC movies to keep him in the general public consciousness so that people just remember that there is a Superman out there. And they're going to wait to see how everything performs before they commit another $200 million to a Superman movie with Henry Cavill. Like, if the Justice League Snyder Cut does well, I know everyone's wondering, will they continue that DCEU universe, that line of story in other upcoming DC projects? It's possible that they could do something like that, but technically, as long as the same actors are playing those characters, it still exists. But because this new Henry Cavill Superman contract is going to take him through the next 3 years or so worth of movies, hopefully by that time, J.J. Abrams will make up his mind about whether or not he wants to keep Henry Cavill as his Superman in a new movie, or if he and the studio decide to pull a full Batman and just recast with a new actor rebooting the character. So right now, the best thing you could do if you want to see Henry Cavill do Man of Steel 2 in a couple years is just support the upcoming DC movies that he is going to appear in. The first new one being the Justice League Snyder Cut next summer. And it sounds like if everything goes well in another couple years, J.J. Abrams will probably be asked to do Justice League 2, most likely. Patty Jenkins was also asked a while ago if she would do Justice League 2, and she was very hesitant. Even James Gunn recently was asked about doing Avengers 5, and he said, "No way, I'm not going to do an Avengers movie." He had no interest in it whatsoever, just because there were so many characters and it's so hard to do big movies like that really well. The list of directors that can handle big team-up movies like that is very, very short. And even if the Justice League Snyder Cut does really well, I don't think that Warner Brothers would bring Zack Snyder back to do another Justice League film. I think best case scenario, they would let him work on other upcoming HBO Max projects. But number 1, as for the actual plot of Man of Steel 2, everyone is hoping J.J. Abrams doesn't try to do a version of his Superman flyby script. If you don't remember that project, it was a total reimagining of the Superman mythos. They created an original character based on Zod to be the villain with a completely different name, completely different backstory, and it was going to happen back in the early 2000s. The script for that is actually online. You can read it if you want, although I would not recommend it. There have been all kinds of jokes from Hollywood writers pitching their ideas for bankable Superman movie ideas, but all you really need for a good new Superman movie is something fresh, new villains that they've never done in the live-action movies before, like Brainiac is a solid example, without being too different from what's come before, because remember, it would still be in continuity with the previous Justice League DCEU films in the first Man of Steel film. Best example of this is actually Wonder Woman 1984, believe it or not. It's not a reboot of the Wonder Woman franchise, but Zack Snyder had a big role in the story of the first Wonder Woman movie. That's why he's listed as an executive producer in the credits. Wonder Woman 1984 is the first Wonder Woman movie that is fully just Patty Jenkins creative top to bottom, beginning to end, which is why it looks and feels very different tonally, so it's kind of a creative soft reboot without being an actual reboot. They're not retconning anything from the first Wonder Woman movie. So if another director winds up doing Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill's Superman, or whatever they want to call the next movie, Man of Tomorrow, that's kind of what would happen. Soft, creative refresh of the character without retconning anything from the first Man of Steel movie. And in fact, if you guys didn't see, there is an actual Superman Man of Tomorrow animated DC movie that they just did. It's coming out later this year, but there's no official release date for it yet. If you didn't watch it, Justice League Dark Apokolips War is the last big DC animated movie as part of that line of continuity. It's fantastic. A lot of the plot of that is similar to Zack Snyder's original plot for the Justice League trilogy when they were still going to do a trilogy of Justice League films. So this Superman Man of Tomorrow movie is one of the first new sort of rebooted DC animated movies. Let me know in the comments though, what do you want them to do for the story of the next Superman movie? And when they do make some more announcements about what's going on next with Henry Cavill's Superman, I'll do a new video. But congratulations to Mal Alford, you're the giveaway winner from my last big DC video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. Everyone click here for my brand new Wonder Woman 1984 trailer video and Justice League Easter eggs, and click here for my brand new Doctor Strange 2 teaser Easter eggs video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.